When they said, come on, it was a done deal. Everybody just called out, you know what I'm saying, like it was an old horse race or something.
A chaotic scene as hundreds make a run for the door and a chance at Dallas County housing vouchers. That story topping our news this midday. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Ron Corning. Rental assistance at what price? At least 8 people suffered injuries while trying to line up this morning to apply for a limited number of Dallas County rental vouchers. That after waiting for hours in their cars. Channel 8's Cynthia Vega joining us live now from the Jesse Owens Memorial Complex in Dallas with more on what happened there. Hi, Cynthia.
Well, hi, good afternoon to you. You know, the organizers are telling us they did expect a huge crowd given the state of the economy and given that those with no to low income are truly in need of rental assistance. But in fact, people began arriving as early as 4 o'clock yesterday, but they had to park, Ron, all the way across the street. And many of them stayed there all through the night on a very hot night. And you could just imagine at 5:30 this morning when the gates finally opened, that's when things got out of hand.
Saw people run, so I started running and I slipped and fell all over the pavement, getting my knee, my arm.
Jordan Spivey's all scuffed up after taking quite a tumble this morning, but grateful she wasn't trampled too, as hundreds raced to be first in line to apply for a Dallas County voucher for rental housing assistance.
It was a madhouse.
Ada McKenzie also injured as the crowd closed in around the door.
As you can see, the white all on my arm from being pinned up against the wall so strongly. People pushing, fighting.
Ambulances arrived with paramedics treating at least 7 to 8 people injured as the chaos continued.
At the front door, and then the louds say they're going to mace. So when they said that, that's why everybody started running. And then they said, no, we're not going to mace. The line is on the other side.
I think it was really unorganized because a lot of people that was here first really end up at the end because they couldn't run fast enough.
So many people had pulled up in their cars by 2 this morning. The line along Polk Street stretched more than a mile back, many sitting out on the median. Security nearby. When word got out the doors opened an hour and a half early, that's when people began racing for the opportunity to fill out an application for housing assistance. Was it worth it?
I hope so. I mean, I'm a student working 3 jobs, so I would definitely, need help with my rent so I don't have to work as much and focus on school.
As many as 15,000 people are expected to show up here to apply for rental assistance throughout the day. And to give you some idea of what's available, Dallas County has 3,800 vouchers, and only 100 are available right now. The rest will be freed up over the next few years as people come off that rental assistance, and these people right now, if they qualify, will then get that rental assistance. But for those who were parked across the street last night, they want to know, why couldn't they use this parking lot? It didn't open up until 6 o'clock this morning. Well, organizers say they were not supposed to show up that early. Reporting live here in Dallas, I'm Cynthia Vega, Channel 8 News.
Cynthia, thank you for that. And still the question remains this midday, why did organizers also not plan for this number of people and have more security in place to keep the crowds under control? Channel 8's Rebecca Lopez is standing by in the Dallas newsroom with more on this part of the story. Rebecca, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, organizers say that they didn't plan for people, again, as Cynthia just mentioned, to start arriving until this morning, but people started showing up yesterday afternoon and told to come back, so they started lining up. The big problem is that the parking lot was closed to the facility, so people couldn't park and had to park along the streets and then run across the streets. Today, the Dallas County Sheriff's Office says that they planned for this event and that Dallas police, though, should have had patrol officers out there directing traffic. But according to DPD, they weren't notified that there was a problem until after 6 this morning. They did send out some officers, but were told the county had it under control.
There is no perfect way. We feel like with the Dallas Sheriff Department, DISD Security, and Dallas County Security, we have managed the situation very well. Of course, you're going to have people break line, you're going to have people running. That's to be expected.
DPD is used to large crowds like the Mavs parade. DPD says they could have controlled these crowds better if they'd known and had been included in on the planning. I talked to high-ranking officers who say that they weren't informed, so they didn't have a plan in place. They could have had their response teams ready, extra patrol officers, barricades. The county and DISD, though, were in charge of the security. We'll have more on what went wrong in our later newscast. Reporting live from the newsroom, Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
All right, thank you for that, Rebecca. And even though there was a lot of confusion this morning, once applicants got inside, the process was a lot easier. Anyone who wanted to apply for a Section 8 housing voucher had to fill out a one-page form in person through Dallas County Health and Human Services. Health officials had to process 4,000 to 5,000 people just this morning, but they say they only had about 3,800 vouchers over the next few years. Just filling out that form doesn't mean applicants will get help with their rent, but first and foremost, they must be eligible.
This process is a real user-friendly process. It's a one-page application. They'll come in, fill out the application. We will call them back, do a thorough background check for income eligibility, and it may be 2 to 4 years before they actually receive a voucher.
County health officials say they will keep their doors open until 5 today for anyone who wants to apply for the housing voucher. Remember, the only way to apply is in person. Thousands of people are expected at today's rental assistance event. We will have continuing coverage throughout the day on News 8 and on WFAA.com.